help small SMEs and also companies insure themselves against different risks.
Okay.
But mainly I focus on Gen Zs because I am a Gen Z myself. So the most common misconception is the fact that insurance companies and insurance agents are thieves.
True that. That one is very common.
I have heard that so many times. You need to find either the company or an agent or an intermediary like myself who will give you all the information, including the fine print. Yeah. Now, what I feel is the issue in regards to this terrible perceptions about the industry is that people have had, bad experiences because one, they don't know enough information.
Hello and a warm welcome to Queens of Change, a show that is dedicated to women growth, empowerment, and of course telling their stories that you are to hear. My good name is Christine and you are joining us right here at Urban TV, igniting youth culture. Now today I have an amazing guest with me. When you think finances, financial literacy, protecting yourself, you ought to listen to this episode. Why? Because we are talking to an insurance consultant. Join us as we learn so much more about insurance than what we know, and of course filling the blanks and learning everything there is to learn about insurance. So thank you so much, Josefina, for joining us.
Thank you for having
you look
me.
amazing today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. Maybe just for our viewers, introduce yourself and briefly tell us who you are and what you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
My name is Josefina Mwanyumba. I am an insurance consultant. So in short, what that means is I help individuals, I help small SMEs and also companies insure themselves against different risks.
Okay.
But mainly I focus on Gen Zs because I am a Gen Z myself. So I'd like to empower Gen Zs to learn more about insurance so that by the time they're getting into the workforce, they know a lot about, what they're purchasing, what is in the market and what is available for them. Yeah.
I'm happy that your target audience is really the Gen Z, because I believe we were having a conversation before we started this and we were talking about there's a very large percentage of us young people that know nothing about insurance, or we have all these perceptions about insurance that some of them of course are true, others we are hanging in there. So maybe you can briefly explain what your role involves and why insurance is a crucial part of financial planning.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically what I do is I am the intermediary between an insurance company that provides different products in the market and the client that is somebody who would like to purchase an insurance product. Okay. So what I do is I help these individuals, the client, to find the right insurance products for their specific needs. So needs are so dynamic, yeah. One person may need health insurance, another person may need motor vehicle insurance. So I bridge that gap. So I help them figure out, okay, in terms of pricing, what is the best according to their budget. In terms of benefits, what kind of benefits would work for this particular individual or this company. So we have a sit down, we go through, a small rundown of either what the person does or what they're looking for. And then from there, I am able to consult and advise.
Okay. So again, there was a very hot conversation before we came here, and there's a lot of perspectives that exist about insurance. Number one, easily scammers. It might sound off, but that is what it's perceived as, or you're taking too much. But then when I'm requesting for a service, sometimes I need to keep calling for this service. How would you convince, for example, my director to change his perspective about insurance? Yes.
Okay. So it's so unfortunate that we've had a lot of terrible experiences about the insurance industry as a whole. And my job is also to, you know, change that perception of insurance companies, because one, you need to find either the company or an agent or an intermediary like myself who will give you all the information, including the fine print. Yeah. Now, what I feel is the issue in regards to this terrible perceptions about the industry is that people have had, you know, bad experiences because one, they don't know enough information.
Yes.
And the people that are supposed to be giving them that information kind of hide the some details.
Yes.
And then now when you're going to claim or when you have an issue, then that's when they tell you, oh, this was written, you know, in the policy document that you signed. So I feel like information is very important, and going through, you know, the documents that you've signed with the agent side by side and explaining all, you know, insurance jargon, because sometimes it can be very confusing.
I literally just signed just to have my signature there.
Exactly.
Which you shouldn't. Don't sign documents if you don't go through them.
Exactly. So it's very important for you to, and if you don't understand something, I always ask clients to ask.
Yes.
Always ask. There's never a stupid question if you don't understand.
Yeah. So we have spoken about the misconceptions about insurance that are out there. Which are the one that you know, like, are common myths and that people encounter, and of course, how do you debunk them to your clients?
So the most common misconception is the fact that insurance companies and insurance agents are thieves.
True that. That one is very common.
I have heard that so many times, and it's sometimes it's a bit demoralizing because it's a solution that you're offering, right? So when somebody tells you you're a thief, you don't even know where to start.
That's
right?
True. That's true.
But what I would tell people is they need to understand the insurance industry and the insurance product before they have that perception. Because insurance is basically a protection tool, right? And what they do to come up with the amount that you're paying, the premium, is they have, you know, actuaries who calculate, let's say, the average based on a certain amount of data. If we were to have this type of risk, this is how much we would charge. And that amount is always way lower than that particular risk, right? So we have, let's say, Christine paying 10,000 and then somebody else paying 20,000, somebody else paying 30,000, right? But then at the end of the day or at the end of the year, Christine might claim 1 million. So where are we going to get that 1 million to pay Christine? So we sort of pull the funds from everybody who has purchased an insurance cover, and then we use it to pay Christine. So that's why sometimes people may feel like I'm paying for something, but at the end of the day, I may not use it, but I don't get a refund.
That's true.
But there is somebody who has benefited from the amount that has been pulled together.
That's true.
Yeah.
So maybe before we go to our first commercial break, you have told us of the different types of insurance covers. There's medical, there's motor, there's life insurance. There has been a lot of arguments around life insurance, mainly because there's people that get you to the insurance and then something is done to you and then they claim it. So how are we, you as an agent, how are you able to cover such insecurities?
Wow, you've touched a very, very interesting point, because there's always been a debate on the life insurance policies that are currently being sold in Kenya. Now, I know a lot of people have gotten into the work industry and they've been told, when you start working, now get a life policy so for you to start saving. Okay. Now, the problem with that is we don't understand that life insurance has so many products. So there's savings products, there's education policies, there is whole life, there is term life. Okay. What I personally, as an insurance consultant, would recommend is getting either a term life or a whole life, which is basically pure life. It does not include any investments. What I have a problem with is what we call endowment policies. I'm sorry to use jargon.
It's okay, it's okay. We are learning. We are learning. Happy to learn.
But now endowment policies is what the layman knows as savings policies or education. So when you add an aspect of investment and savings to a life insurance policy, then financially it may not make sense. So I would always recommend take a life insurance cover, pure life, for the people who you're going to leave behind, right? Because you don't want people to be suffering in case something happens to you. Then when you're investing, there are better investment tools other than, let's say, savings or investment products like money market. You have pension. So always separate the two. If it's life insurance, get a life insurance. If it's savings, get a savings policy. Yeah.
So in case you're just joining us, right here with me is Josephina, who is an insurance consultant. And we are taking our very first commercial break, but we're going to be back after that break. Remember, you can join the conversation across all our social media platforms at Urban TV. Welcome back to Queens of Change, right here at Urban TV with me, Christine, and with me again before we took that short commercial break. I was having a conversation with Josephina. We were having a conversation about insurance policies, and I think we had gotten to a place where we were saying for women already being in business is quite the difficult task. You know, given women have so many roles in the society, not to get into any of them because we all know them. But so in these women, how important is it for them, for these women entrepreneurs, to have business insurance, and also what type of insurance should they prioritize?
So first and foremost, it is already an uphill task for a woman to lead an organization. That's one. So it's so important for her to protect her wealth, and her wealth is, you know, the business itself, because that's her source of income. And personally, I would always recommend, let's abide by the law, and let's get what we call a Work Injury Benefits Act. So that is a standard policy that every business should have for its staff members. So it's Work Injury Benefits Act, meaning that in case any one of your employees gets injured or has an illness related to the type of work that they do, then they will be compensated by that insurance policy. Now, I would categorize the most important insurance policies into two, depending on what type of either service or what type of goods that this organization is providing. So if the organization has goods that they sell to their customers, then most importantly, the goods that they sell are, you know, the priority. So ensure that against fire, against burglary, right? And then now you can start insuring the employees against medical health insurance. And then if the organization is the type that provides services to the general public, then I would always recommend to get a health insurance and a WIBA for staff members, because remember, for that type of business, then your employees are your source of income.
All right. And then I know we have spoken so much about insurance, but we all know for you to have insurance, it requires money. And of course, one of the barriers to insurance for most people is the cost. So how can people balance between getting the right coverage while staying within budget?
So insurance products are so many in the market. And the one good thing that the insurance industry has done is to segment the population in terms of budget, right? So there's insurance products that cater to, I would say, people, I wouldn't like to say the elite, but people who have access to high-end services. I'll give you an example of medical insurance. So the the health policies have been segmented in terms of access to maybe tier 1 hospitals. Those are the big hospitals,
Okay.
you know. And then it also has options where you can choose lower cost providers.
Okay.
And it will tend to be more budget friendly to people who, I would say,
Okay.
do not have, you know, that much money or are starting out. So you can always, you know, try and speak to your intermediary and figure out where your budget lies.
Okay.
And then you will find a policy that works best for you.
Okay.
Now, another thing is banks have also partnered with insurance companies to provide payment plans for different insurance products, where for medical insurance, you have an option of paying. For individuals, you have a maximum of 4 months.
Okay.
And then for companies, you can pay up to a maximum of 6 months. So we call that insurance premium financing.
Okay.
And it comes at a small interest that is charged. And for other products other than health, that is if you're covering your stock items, if you're getting, say, professional indemnity, that's a different type of insurance cover.
Okay.
For that, then you will have up to 10 months installments, which is very, very flexible, and it doesn't weigh you down in terms of cost per month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and so for most people, us Gen Zs, hatuna insurance. We're just cruising through life nicely. You know, personally, I am one of those people that have had that mentality of maybe if I get insurance, I am inviting sickness. I know it's a very backward mentality, but also there's people that believe, what if I don't need it? Because I believe I speak for everyone and I say that there's times you have paid for insurance and then that year you have not gotten sick.
Yeah.
But the minute you don't pay for insurance,
That's when you get sick.
you will get a flu, a semi-flu, baby flu, all of those ones. So as a person that doesn't have insurance, what are the steps you would recommend for me to take? Because now I am ready to do so. What steps should I take? And knowing that I am a Gen Z, which ones would you advise for me to get? Yes.
So if when you're ready to purchase an insurance cover, number one, always do your research. There is a lot of information online. First things first, what type of insurance cover are you looking at purchasing?
Okay.
Is it health insurance? Is it a motor vehicle? And then second step would be to involve an intermediary who will explain to you in detail how the policy works. They will tell you what the policy coverage is. They will tell you the exclusions of the policy, because every insurance policy has benefits, and then it also has exclusions. So that needs to be explained to you. And then also you need to know what your budget is. Explain that to the intermediary, and then now from there they'd be able to advise what insurance, either company or insurance product would work best for you.
Okay. And maybe as we wind up, I think I say you have clearly made a mark in the insurance industry. I have seen your videos explaining. I feel like you're very articulate. You explain it. Like I could watch a video and be convinced. That is how good you are. So how would you actively encourage, or rather mentor, other young women who want to follow the same similar path? So maybe look into that camera. Yes.
Okay. First and foremost, you need to have a lot of self-belief, and you need to also be resilient. It is an industry that is filled with a lot of misconceptions, and you need to be ready to, counter these misconceptions and explain everything in detail so that people have confidence in you. Okay. Now, another thing is you should have a mentor, somebody who can take you through the ropes and explain the different policies and also their history and experience in the insurance industry, and that will help you understand things don't come easy, but at the end of the day, if you keep pushing, then you will definitely get to your goal.
Thank you so much, Josephina, for joining
me.
us. I believe we have learned a thing or two about insurance. I think it's something that I need to take seriously from this point on. So thank you so much for that. And I hope you that is watching us have learned something that insurance is very important. And of course, you have to understand the different types of insurance and when to register for them. Is it register?
To sign up.
To sign up for them.
Yes.
Mentioned that you also have an insurance channel. Would you like maybe to speak on that before we head out?
Oh yes, most definitely. So I post videos online on TikTok.
Okay.
That's where a lot of Gen Zs are.
Yes.
And I also post on Instagram. So my handle is @InsureGenZ. So you can find me on TikTok and Instagram.
Okay.
Follow my content and engage.
All right. So I think I speak for everyone when I say we have learned a lot. And of course, we look forward to having you back here for more lengthy conversation. And you that is at home, please be sure to take insurance. Nitawaongoza, I promise. Other than that, thank you so much for tuning into yet another episode of Queens of Change. Do interact with us down below. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click that notification bell so that you do not miss out every time we upload. Like, share, and comment. Let me know which other Queen of Change you'd like to see. And of course, we're going to bring them here.